Welcome into the NBA Morning Deuce. Thursday, January 14th. What time is it, Alex? 'Cause
Oh,
I'm done
I was going to
saying
give you a time check.
okay,
11:15
it's
p.m. on the East Coast.
11:15 p.m. on the East Coast. I just figured why even risk it anymore? I'll just let you be the timekeeper.
That's fair. Yeah.
I've always called you the timekeeper, so now you have a role that fits your nickname.
Was not aware of that. I mean, you've got so much on your plate. You've got to introduce the show. You've got to say what day it is. I can handle the time of day. It's fine.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's about time you
Stepped
you
up.
did some of the heavy lifting on this show. I've been carrying this thing on my broad shoulders for long enough.
It's true.
I don't know if anyone can see it in my face, but I am tired, and I think part of it is it's been a whirlwind of an NBA week. It has been a whirlwind of an NBA week. But today was actually a slower day, so maybe that's why I'm tired. It's not like all this action.
Yeah, you didn't have any juice
keeping me
today.
energized. It's just a regular old 5-game slate. Should have been a 6-game slate, but COVID obviously still running wild on the NBA. So 5 games tonight, 2 games still going on. Pacers, Blazers, which is currently a blowout, and Nuggets, Warriors, which has the second half started because I have Pacers, Blazers on. So it's still halftime of the Warriors Nuggets game.
Denver up 11 in that game.
Yeah, so that game is a blowout at the moment. So no real. I mean, what other action could there be other than the James Harden trade was the action yesterday. Since the dust has now settled on that trade, I checked on the old Bovada Sportsbook, and the Nets jumped to second in the title odds at plus 275 behind the Lakers. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'd buy that so quickly. It's an interesting jump without knowing the future of Kyrie Irving.
Definitely.
Right?
I definitely think so. So we got to remember these books adjust based on money that's coming in. So,
Hey, hold on 1 second. Weezbowski says, tuning in at work sweeping a store. Cheers, fellas. Hey, cheers to you, Weez. Appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoy. Hey, we're going to try. It's our last episode of the week. It's a little bit of a slower day. The action... Blind X wants to know, is Kyrie playing? No,
he's not.
No, he has not played in 4 games, and we don't know if he's ever playing, but we'll see. But anyways, yeah, so that's why I don't buy these odds just yet, because if anything, I would be like maybe Brooklyn off the board at the moment, because...
Right, that is what I would more expect. So my buddy, he was all excited because he got his bet in as the news was breaking, Nets plus 500. So obviously... the Harden news swings the line, but I think it has to do a lot of people stuff their money on the Nets, and that's also moving the line. It's not necessarily Vegas, Bovada being like, this is what the line is. It's dictated by the money that's coming in.
Right. That's true.
But I'm with you. I mean, for their odds to be that close to the Lakers, according to Bovada, are plus 225.
Right.
I don't even think it's close. The Lakers are the heavy favorite ahead of the Nets to win the title, in my mind.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. The Blind X asked, "What do you think the odds are with and without Kyrie playing?" I think if Kyrie plays, then this is fair. I mean, I think you have to make them the odds-on favorite in the East, just based purely off talent. Now, the East is kind of loaded this year, so anything can happen in a 7-game series, as we saw last year. The Heat are not right now. The Celtics are not healthy. It's early in the season, but the Celtics are not healthy. Philly, it's hard to know, right? Like, they were great for a while, then they lost some games. Is their defense as good as it was? Who else? I mean, the Bucks, and then the Bucks, who have failed back-to-back years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can the Bucks get over the hump? Is Drew Holiday enough? So I think, if Kyrie's playing with these guys, they have to be the odds-on favorite, so they're the second. Then that makes them second in the NBA because they would be in the finals. Without Kyrie, it's a toss-up, man. I think the odds wouldn't go much lower than this, but I don't think you make. I don't. Are they automatically the odds-on favorite to win the East without Kyrie?
It's tough. I mean, dude, in a week when I see Harden and Durant on the floor together, maybe I'm singing a totally
Yeah,
different
it's
tune.
tough.
But I'm just so focused on that lack of rim protection, lack of wing defenders. Um, Man, I mean, Durant's a good defender. We know Durant's a good defender. We know DeAndre Jordan's a really, really good defender when he's healthy, and
He was 10 years ago.
he was
5 years ago.
but it doesn't look like he can play extended minutes for a very long time. You know what I mean? Like maybe he'll
Right.
give you 30 minutes here and there, but defensively, I have major, major concerns about this team. But we raised the point last night with the buyout market, they could add a piece. You know, it's not out
I
of the
just don't
question.
know who's available. Like,
Right? Yeah. I mean, and
when was the
that'll
last time you saw like a
materialize.
dominant defensive player on the buyout market?
Dude, wasn't Marc Gasol for the Raptors a buyout?
No, that was a trade.
So, man,
I
who
think
am
it
I
was.
thinking
I'm
of then?
pretty sure it was a trade.
I thought they got Marc Gasol off of a buyout, but I could be wrong. And it doesn't even have to be like this X factor kind of guy. It just needs to be a body that can like contribute alongside DeAndre Jordan. Because I just know DeAndre Jordan's not going to be an elite rim protector for a 7-game series. He can give you good minutes, but
Right. Well, speaking of that, speaking of the Nets, Woj. So the fallout has continued, and we're gonna get to the games here in a second, but there's still games going on. There's only 5 games, so I wanted to hit at least a little bit more of the fallout because really the Harden thing was the biggest thing of the week. And as far as Kyrie goes, right, he hasn't played in 4 games. They know he's out for 3 more games. The organization is disappointed, is the reports. They are frustrated. And then Woj was on ESPN today, and he basically gave this explanation about how he thinks that the Nets may have a little more leverage over Kyrie Irving's future now that they have Harden. Because it's like, you know, before they couldn't be, I guess it's sort of a thing where it's like before they couldn't be forceful in this because they had their 2 guys, but now they have another guy. So now they could be like, dude, come on. It's time to come. I guess that's what it is. I mean, I think me and you are pretty much on the same page. No one has leverage over Kyrie Irving's future. Kyrie's going to do what he wants because he is. Before they got James Harden, they were a championship contender. With James Harden, they're a championship contender. Before James Harden, he sat out and hasn't been playing. So I don't see why James Harden being there is going to change what Kyrie does. Kyrie's going to do what he does.
yeah. The only leverage in my mind that they have is the game checks. Like that's what's going to
Yeah.
get him in the door is he's fines and missing
Right.
game checks.
But that's up to the league. That's up to the league. The league has to, if the league's investigation into the video, because right now he's just sitting for personal reasons. So the league will have to find from the videos that he broke protocol, and then they can start finding him game checks.
Okay. Well, how long can you sit out for personal reasons before the team is like, oh, man, I don't know. That is a very tricky situation.
Yeah, I don't know. Now here's the thing I wanted to address from Woj's comments. Right, so we on this show we respect Woj. We have a lot of respect for Woj. Right, Woj very rarely is wrong, if ever. I don't know if I've ever seen him wrong about anything, but he was wrong about something today, because in these comments he said the Nets now have 3 MVP caliber players.
Oof.
That's wrong. Kyrie Irving is not and has not ever been an MVP caliber player and literally has no chance in his career, particularly now, to be an MVP. They do have 2 former MVPs on their team. Kyrie Irving is not even in the same discussion in terms of that level. As good as he is and as talented as he is, bringing in James Harden, they brought in a different level of player. I mean, regardless of what you think, accomplishment-wise, other than Kyrie riding LeBron's coattails to a final, what Harden's done as an individual, he is an MVP. Kyrie's a player, a talented guy who hasn't lived up to his potential.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with you. Kyrie Irving's not an MVP caliber player. He could have been. Maybe if some crazy stuff happens down the road, he could be. But he's not an MVP caliber player. I don't see how you could arrive at that. It's pretty wild.
I mean, he might have just been saying it. I mean, it was a TV segment, so
right. So
I don't care one where like say what I just wanted to, we never get the chance to crush. How often do you get to say Woj was wrong about anything? But he's wrong
it's
here.
We've been doing this podcast for what, 10 years now? We've never heard it.
But so I just really wanted to say that. All right, so we'll go from Harden into the Rockets tonight. Rockets first game without James Harden, first win without James Harden. They beat the Spurs, and your boy Christian Wood, no John Wall either, by the way, tonight. Your boy Christian Wood, 27 and 15. He's so freaking talented, man. I don't know if it's sustainable. I really don't, and I don't know if this team is going to be good. I on Bovada, like the money line odds here were incredible. Like it was like plus 300. So I bet them. I was like, first game without Harden. All these guys are talking about how they now have direction. John Wall talked shit on Harden. Boogie said Harden's been disrespectful. I'm like, these guys are going to win this game. Like there's no. It's like when a coach gets fired. It was like when a coach gets fired.
Yeah.
That everyone hates. They win the next game, at least the next game, if not the next couple. It's like that honeymoon phase. There is no chance they were losing this game tonight. So I bet heavy on that.
So we had parallel thinking all the way, except that I took the Rockets with the points. I wanted their points, but I saw them coming out. I mean, they're clearly angry. They felt disrespected. The Spurs just aren't that good. They're just not that good. They're fine. Yeah. But yeah, it didn't surprise me at all. Christian Wood carried them, man.
And Sterling Brown.
Christian Wood offensively is sustainable because that guy is ridiculously talented on the offensive end. In terms of him being like the best player on a very good team, the jury's out. I'm not sure because he does have some defensive shortcomings, I would say. But in terms of
he's long, he blocks shots though.
Yeah, the offense I'm not worried about at all. I actually think he can sustain. I mean, not 27 and 15 every night, but he's the real deal in terms of offense and getting John Wall right. If that ever is really going to happen, I think the Rockets can make the playoffs this year. I really do.
I'll tell you who I like on this team. This kid, Jayshawn Tate, who started for them tonight, who's been playing for them. He can't shoot. I don't know if he's a forward or a guard. I don't know if he's right-handed or left. I don't know what he is, but he's jacked. He can handle the ball. He scores at the rim. He had 10 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks. The guy does like a little bit. He was like a mix between PJ and Draymond tonight. He's not that. Everybody calm down.
Tonight he was.
But tonight he's only 6'4". I looked him up. He's only 6'4".
Yeah.
But I was watching him like this guy looks 6'8". He looked like PJ Tucker, like Jack, like size wise.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess PJ's only like 6'5", but he's just interesting. He's just like a really interesting player, and I would imagine he's been playing for them. He's not going to play 33 minutes a night, but he might keep getting minutes for them. The way he scored at the rim was crazy. He must have super long arms. That must be what it was. Because he was like 6'4", but getting to the rim and scoring easily.
Yeah.
Now they're not going to get 23 from Sterling Brown, maybe ever again. So
yeah, that's I would imagine that's a career game for him. Wow, I didn't even realize they didn't have Eric Gordon tonight either. So they're going to be a better team moving forward when they get Wall and Gordon back. And Christian Wood appears to be the real deal. Do you think like an 8 seed is attainable, or am I crazy there?
I mean, anything's possible, I guess. Like that we've talked about the West, right? Like there's the East. I think there's more definitive. Like,
yeah,
there's like definitiveness is not the word.
There's clear drop off. It's kind of
well in the East. There's like 6 or 7 teams that are almost certainly making the playoffs.
Yeah.
In the West, there's like 3 teams, 4 teams, and then everything else is just like a toss up. Like Blazers, Nuggets right now are terrible, or not. I mean, they're playing good tonight, but they've been up and down.
Pelicans up and down.
Like Dallas, how is Porzingis going to be good? Like, are they coming on? Like Pelicans, Kings, up and down. So Yeah, they can make it. I tell you, in the second quarter, they did a close up on my guy Steven Silas, and
Yeah.
obviously he's wearing the mask,
Yeah.
but he's already got the stress bags
I was gonna
under his
say, does it
eyes.
look like he's aged?
Oh my god, man! Like he looks so tired. He looks so stressed. I mean, but then at the end of the game, when they got the stop on DeRozan, he was on the court. I've never like he is a very calm, the nicest person on the planet. Very calm dude. I've only ever seen him get angry once, and it was at a practice, and he was yelling at our former head coach. They were going at it with each other. Only time I've ever seen him yell or get angry, and he wasn't angry here. He was happy. Ran, hit hit PJ Tucker in the chest.
That's
I was
awesome.
like, I
All
got
of it.
goosebumps. I got excited. I'm like, yes, good for Steven. Like I hope they make the playoffs. I want to see him do well. I want him to succeed. So if this is what it takes, good. What I don't want is for them to be awful and he gets blamed for it and then he doesn't get another chance to coach, because that's what happens a lot of times. If you fail in your first place, you don't get another shot. So I want him to at least have some success so then he could be in that head coaching cycle where they just recycle coaches all the time, even if he does get fired eventually.
Yeah, honestly, just listening to you talk about the guy, I'm like a fan of the guy. He just seems like a good dude. But in terms of what we talked about, like having a chip on their shoulder, I believe in that sort of thing, like in sports. I really do. Like I actually think that's something that could keep this team locked in enough through this crazy ass season to get them to the playoffs. Like their best players are pissed, and I think that's a good thing. You know.
And like you said, we still haven't, and we didn't even get John Wall or Eric Gordon.
Yeah.
And by the way, wasn't it the report before the season was Eric Gordon is not happy with his role on this team, how it's diminished over the last few years. So maybe we'll see a rejuvenated Eric Gordon. I mean,
Well, he had
that
can
guy can get you
quote?
20 something tonight.
His quote about how
Said they
really
have direction now.
Yeah, it's good
Yeah,
stuff.
we'll see what direction that is, because directions go both ways. You could go forward or you could go backward. But by the way, before I get to the Christian Wood post game, which was the best part of the night for this, Corey James, longtime listener. Hey man, welcome back. Thanks for watching. Appreciate
What's up, Corey?
it. So after the game, Christian Wood, who balled out 27 and 15, he gets the TNT interview. Shaq does his normal, like, I don't watch basketball, but I'm on national television thing. And he gets Christian Wood, and he goes, Christian, I just got to apologize. I've never heard of you until tonight. And Christian Wood doesn't miss a beat and just goes, oh, you're a casual.
That's awesome.
amazing.
By the way. Especially
amazing.
on like video
Yeah.
to do it in person, you'd be like, oh, that's pretty funny. But to have the presence of mind, like over video or audio,
They
I
don't,
don't even.
and they don't
yeah,
see
you
each other.
probably
Yeah, they
couldn't
don't
even
see
him,
each other.
yeah.
No, they don't see each other. I mean, he's just looking into, not even looking, because the way they do it now is the cameras are so far away. They're all just like sort of like listening and looking. But yeah, it was
That's awesome.
it popped up. I mean, everyone's talking about it. Like it was all over Twitter too. But it's very funny, very clever and quick. Like most guys would probably just be like, oh, it's Shaq being Shaq.
Yeah, exactly.
But it does show like this kid. Not only is he talented, but he's clearly got some confidence in himself.
Definitely.
Right?
I knew that
what I
when
mean?
he was on one of the worst teams in NBA history in Philly. Like it's clear, like when you
He's
when you're
a
watching
process
it.
guy, right?
Yeah, big time process guy.
Imagine right now, by the way, Rashawn Holmes and Christian Wood with your team.
Can we toss Jeremy Grant in there, dude? Like,
Yeah, I know, dude.
Let
I know.
some gems out the door. But
XX Blind X says he's a first-time listener. Well, hey, welcome. Rolling tonight on the night we thought it was gonna be slow.
I know it's gonna be our best show. I feel good. I feel like we got a great show going here.
No, that was great. Christian Wood. I'm excited to see what this team does. It should be fun. I hope my guy does well. That's all I really care about here. We don't need to talk about the Rockets, do it. I mean here's what we do need to talk about with the Rockets in terms of this trade. Kevin O'Connor said today that that reportedly Victor Oladipo, despite being traded to Houston, having not played a game, still wants to be in Miami because he's a free agent after this year.
I'm wondering if Victor Oladipo sees himself a little bit higher.
He
in a
absolutely
higher tier.
does.
Yeah.
I know. Now I could say this. This is not like I'm not going to say who it is. I'm not going to say, but I have it on good authority that Victor, when he became an all-star, became a very different person.
Wow.
He changed. I know he went. He moved. situations a little bit. I don't want to go too much into detail because if my friend happened to be listening, he'd be mad if I even talked about the situation. But he moved from one place to another. He became a little bit different Vic when he became an all-star, from my understanding, from someone that I'm very close with. So I wouldn't be surprised if he still thinks he's something that he's not. I will say this. I feel as though Miami fans, living in Miami, doing a podcast about the Heat, I think Heat fans, if Victor Oladipo is their free agent signing, their big free agent signing with the money that they were supposed to be saving to get Giannis, don't think Miami fans would be super happy.
I don't think so either. And you can only have so
Also
many max players.
Offensively doesn't fit super well next to Jimmy.
Completely agree. Yeah. And also, like, it's looking to me, this may be a good transition into the Heat Sixers game, but it's looking to me like Tyler Hero is going to be a max player. It really looks like it.
Yeah, dude.
And you can only have so many of those guys on your team. They've got Jimmy and Bam.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I'm a Heat fan, I'm not like, I'm not super excited about Oladipo. I mean,
he's a good player, man. Maybe he gets
really
back
good.
to what he was. He's
really
averaging
good.
20 a game this year, but he's not what I feel like even when I watch him, even though he's averaging 20 a game, he's not what he was.
Yeah, I agree. But it's just, to me, it's not like a guy where he's like good enough to like force his way to the team he wants to be on, you know? I don't know.
Well, he's not forcing his way.
Not forcing, but you know what I mean? Like,
he's a free agent.
Like
after this season.
It's just weird. Like, he ends up on a new team and he's already talking about, or maybe he just.
No. See, this is why players get mad at media. Okay, so what you're doing right now, you're spinning it, right?
I have to.
You're spinning right now.
I'm part
this
of
is
the
a
media,
report from Kevin O'Connor.
Yeah. Well, where'd he get it?
We don't know that Victor Oladipo said this. In all likelihood, Victor Oladipo didn't say shit. Who's Kevin O'Connor's sources? I don't know. It's just a report that he wants it now. Maybe he did say it, and I don't know. But I'm just saying, let's not on the show say Victor Oladipo has no right to say this because we don't know if he said it.
All right,
it's according to a source.
I appreciate you gently taking the pitchfork out of my hands and placing it down.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't want XX Blind X. I don't want XX Blind X to be listening to you and be like, whoa, what did Vic say? It's just a report, you know?
Well, that's the number one thing you're going to get on this podcast that you won't get anywhere else, okay? The co-host is calming me down from overreacting to something I shouldn't have been overreacting to. Good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Or if you want, you can let us know. We could fight about it. And if that's more interesting to you, you can tell your friends. That'll be cool. So that is a good transition into the Heat. They lose again to the Sixers. Second night in a row. Heat only had 8 players once again because of COVID.
That bastard.
Sixers basically at full strength for the first time since their COVID situation, right? They're only missing Seth right now, Seth Curry.
Yeah, they're essentially back to full strength except for Seth Curry.
But let me ask you something as a resident Sixers person because you're in Philly. Mm-hmm. Is Shake Milton better than Ben Simmons?
Yes, no question.
Is Shake Milton?
Milton. I know Blind X is enjoying the show, but maybe I just lost him right there. Ben Simmons, Ben Simmons is so frustrating, and just in a half-court offense, when you have a guy in this situation with a guy as dominant as Embiid, I genuinely would prefer to have Shake Milton than Ben Simmons. I know it's crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but Ben Simmons doesn't fit. He just doesn't fit on this team, and I don't think he fits on a great team. I really don't.
Yeah. I mean, he had a triple-double.
I was going to text you. I'm done with triple-double. I don't give a shit about triple-doubles. I don't care. I don't care. 8 shots?
Yeah. Well, Shake had 31, so he didn't need to take shots. But I will say this. Tyler Hero, in the second half, Ben Simmons guarded Tyler Hero, and Tyler could not really do a whole lot in the second half. And that's when – and it was relatively close in the first half. And Tyler Hero's been playing out of his mind the last 3 games. Mm-hmm. And then second half, Ben, I don't know if he was guarding. I don't even remember if he was guarding him in the first half, but I noticed it in the second half. He was all over him. And he couldn't really do a whole lot. He's still, as a perimeter defender, he's pretty elite.
And that is where I have to kind of temper how pissed I get at the guy because he is an elite defender, and those are very important. I just get so frustrated with the guy.
Yeah. Simmons was one of the high scorers on Blind X just reminded me, he's one of the high scorers in FanDuel tonight.
Yeah, and that's great. That's
triple doubles.
It's great.
It's good for your team, FanDuel.
It's good for his FanDuel team, yes.
It's good for your Philadelphia 76ers. Also, he took a three.
He did. I think he nicked the rim. That was exciting.
And it hit the rim, and the bench was ready to erupt. Like, they all stood up. I watched every time I see him shoot the ball now, because of the way you've talked to me about the bench reactions, I look at the bench just to see what the reaction is going to be.
Yeah. It's not helping. It is not helping at all. I'm telling you, it's not helping. But I was happy to see him take the three. Love to see a couple elbow jumpers in there. That'd be even better.
Or just, go to the rim, be unstoppable at what you do, and score at the rim. Like, he could score at the rim at will, I think.
And I'm going to say it for the millionth time. 2 free throws, not even close to appropriate for a guy that size and that, athletic. Like, he should be getting to the line 8 times at a minimum.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating.
No. As far as, like, there's nothing, like, it's tough to really analyze this game from a actual game standpoint, because the Heat only had 8 players for the second time in a row. I did think it was interesting. I guess Tyrese Maxey will stay in the starting lineup until Seth comes back. Mm-hmm. But he should be playing more minutes, like, for good now, right? Like, I think he's proven that he should be in the rotation.
Yeah, I don't see how you could not. I mean, just a guy that can get you buckets off the bench
like that.
In
fact, I really thought that because of the way Tyrese Maxey's been playing, that the Sixers were going to figure out a way to keep Maxey and get rid of Simmons. Like, I felt like Maxey made Simmons more expendable.
In the Harden talks and stuff like that?
In any talks.
Yeah. I completely agree. And you have
not that he's not, they're different, right? But he's a bucket getter. Like
right. Well, that's just what I'm talking. I mean, you figure if you're going to jettison Simmons, you're getting something back that fits better, and then you're not taking that blow offensively. You're really not taking a blow offensively at all, in my mind,
right?
With Maxey and Shake in there. Definitely getting hurt defensively.
As you mentioned, Tyler Hero. So this Heat team, I did the Heat podcast earlier, and, like, obviously can't do takeaways from the team, but I'll say this: Precious looks good, man. That kid's going to be very good. I don't think there's a lot of people saying Precious could be like a mini Bam. I don't see it. I don't think he's as skilled. I don't even think he's as close to as skilled right now as Bam was when Bam was a rookie. But they're different. Like, his motor is insane, and somehow he's around every rebound. And he looks small next to Joel Embiid and Dwight Howard. Like, he doesn't look like a big dude. He has a lot of room to fill out.
That's what I was going to say.
But he still is around every rebound. You saw the play where he came down in transition too and had that Euro step around Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
that was nuts.
That was pretty nice. And,
like, just the awareness, and, like, he was going full speed, and just, like, it was so he's looked really good, back-to-back double-doubles. And then obviously Tyler Hero had back-to-back 30-point games this week, and like you said, he just looks like an absolute stud. Like, I feel like I was going back and forth for the last month or so about should they trade Tyler Hero for Harden or not, whatever, right? Or, like, how much is too much to give up for Harden? Do I want? And I landed on, if it's Harden, you got to go get Harden. But I think there's a lot of Heat fans, especially the timing, right, that Tyler Hero goes for back-to-back 30-point games, and then they don't get Harden. A lot of Heat fans are probably saying right now, yeah, told you. Yeah. Like, we told you Hero is the guy.
Mm-hmm. And especially when what softens the blow is, like, yeah, the Nets get him, and you're probably going to run into them in the playoffs, but the Nets also look like they might be a mess, It's not like Harden steps in there and it's like this team's totally overpowered at this point. It's not, because this Kyrie situation is so wacky. It's not like you're horrified of the Nets right now. At least I'm not. Just
I think everyone's horrified of the Nets. I think people in the NBA are horrified of the Nets. I think GMs and coaches are like, what are we going to do with this team? What do you do?
So confident Kyrie's not going to be
What do you do? Because here's the thing is like, when you have one player like Kevin Durant, you can kind of play team defense and shut down one guy who is unshutdownable. Like you could shut down sort of the other guys. They have 2 guys that, like, team defenses cannot shut down. And then they have Kyrie if he plays. like, I'm not saying that it's going to work. I'm just saying, like, I know coaches are like, we don't have two guys that can guard these guys. And normally when you want to stop one guy like that, you double him. But then what happens? You can't double two guys. Like, it's just tough. And it's, I said it's not, it's like a poor man's, like, Golden State situation. But it's different than that because all three of these guys are just one-on-one beasts, right? Like, Clay was never that. But Clay was, you know, maybe the third best shooter to ever play basketball. So
Might be.
But Hero looks really good for the Heat. 6 rebounds again. I gotta look it up for the next show. Like, there's got to be like a height barrier where he is leading the league.
Probably, yeah.
Like 6'4" and under or something. Like,
yeah, because Russ is what, like 6'6"? Russ is taller for sure.
Russ is taller. Maybe Russ is, but there's something about when Hero goes up for the rebounds. It's like he's gliding through the air too. It's great. It's weird. So 6 more rebounds, and then this dude. I mean, Gabe Vincent, man.
He's good. He looks. You know when you like.
He also looks like an old man. He's 24, but he looks like an old man.
You know when you see a player off the bench for the first time, and it's kind of like very quickly if you're looking at an NBA player or this guy's not really. I mean, this guy's not an NBA player. Like Gabe Vincent looks like he belongs, and perfect. This dude. Max Struss, you take one look at him, you're like, okay, this guy's not very good.
Is that how you say it? Is it Struss?
I thought that's how the Sixers broadcast was saying it. Oh no, Struess maybe. I have no idea.
I don't know. I said Struess, but I've actually never. I just don't know. I think it's Struess.
I think it is.
I think it's Struess.
It is Struess.
But it wouldn't surprise me if the Philly. I'm glad you said that because there was something I wanted to talk about last show that I didn't bring up. That I didn't get to bring up.
Okay. Do you want to just dive in now?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if the local Philly guys said Struss. Because I've been watching all these local feeds on League Pass, and it is embarrassing how bad some of these local announcers are, and in particular, how often they mispronounce names of players on other teams. It's fucking embarrassing, guys. Your one job is to know who the players on the court are. You're not Shaq. You're like whoever it was. I don't even remember what game it was making me so angry, but they blatantly got 2 guys' names wrong on the game. I think it was last night when I was watching. I was just like, how do you not know this? I don't care if you're a former player who sat on the bench for 3 years for the Warriors. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because that's who all these like local guys are. They're like former players that no one's ever heard of that played for the. Yeah. Dude, I don't care if you played in the NBA. Get the names right.
Especially because it's 12 guys. Like if this is football and there's like a shitload of guys you have to worry about, but it's 12
some
guys.
Of the names were some of the names. Oh, it was the Nets game, and it was the Denver announcers, and they called Tim. Now TLC's name is tough, but they called him Timofey, like Timofey Mozgov.
Right, not how you say it.
And then Landry Shamet, they were pronouncing it.
Shamet probably.
It was worse. It was worse.
Shamet.
I was shamed or I don't know, something crazy, and I was just like, it's Landry Shamet. It's so easy. I'm just reading Weez Borowski's.
I love the comments tonight.
Long
this
comment. They do that for football too. One guy said after he's played good so far. Yeah, well, that's yeah. I mean, but it's local guys, local announcers and stuff. I don't know.
Bothers me too.
Now here's
Although
the thing:
having been mispronounce this guy's name.
But here's who I get angry at with that stuff. Having produced live TV before, get in your talent's ear and tell him that he said it wrong, and tell him not to say it wrong again. Because you just, as a producer, it's your job to make them look good, even if they're not good at their job. Do what you can. Maybe they were.
The problem. The producer also probably doesn't know.
Yeah.
In most situations.
Yeah. What were we
Gabe Vincent.
What were we talking about?
Gabe Vincent it looks like a guy that can give you really solid minutes, honestly.
Oh, yeah. I said on the Heat podcast earlier today that he, like, I brought up your point that he could take Kendrick Nunn's minutes probably.
Yeah, like.
So shout out to you. I didn't credit you on the podcast, but I'm crediting you now.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I had to say it. I think Heat fans want to know. All right. I think that's enough of this game, right?
Yeah, we spent probably too long on a game where a team had 8 players.
But I guess the last thing is this. There is a lot of uproar, and it's going to continue when there's games being postponed every day, but teams are being forced to play with 8 players.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of bullshit.
And the problem is that the league's taking like this hard line stance where it's like, we made this agreement with the players before the season. Agreements can be changed. Like, if you see that it's not working and it's not healthy for the players, it just doesn't make sense to have especially these two teams in particular, right? Like, these two teams have played this whole last week with 9 players, 8 players, but then like 6 games have been canceled this week.
Well, didn't they also just change the protocols? Like, you can change those. You can change this. Just change it to make more sense. Although
change the pros. They got to change the pros.
That would lead to more cancellations, which we know the NBA doesn't want. But it really, the Heat are getting boned.
Yusuf Nurkic fractured his wrist.
Oh, really?
Man, Blazers are in trouble. All right. Well, the last game that is done from tonight was the Raptors Hornets, which is also a very unimportant game. Other than Bovada had the Hornets plus 10, so hammered that also. I mean, hammered the shit out of that.
We were on the same page again without
I
communicating.
parlayed it, actually. I won a decent amount of money tonight off that. I bet a lot of money on those 2 games because I was like, this can't not hit.
Especially after... So last time the Raptors were favored by 10 was against the Knicks, and we were stunned by the line. In my mind, it just could not have happened twice in a row. There's just no way we were going to miss on that line with the Knicks and the Hornets. And granted, the Hornets didn't have Gordon Hayward, but the Raptors aren't very good. So,
but I don't understand. Like, how does Gordon Hayward move the line that much? The Hornets were 6-6 entering this game. The Raptors were 2-8.
I know. I don't know if Vegas has accepted that the Raptors are not even close to what they were last year. You know, I mean, that's the only way to have 2 double-digit lines for them. What, the past week? I forget when that Knicks game was, but. Yeah, that didn't make any sense. And again, we bet the same 2 games without even talking to each other, which is kind of wild.
Yeah. Is there much really that you want to? I mean, I guess we could try to talk about this game a little bit to get to the end of the other games. Although the other games look like blowouts. I guess the Warriors are potentially coming back, but this Indy game, it doesn't look like they have a shot. Pacers are up 89-71 with 9 minutes left. What I'm watching.
Yeah, and it looked like Golden State tried to make a run there, but Denver's back up 14.
Oh, here's something from the Raptors game. Is Chris Boucher might be like a legit player. By the way, Wob tweeted tonight, he's like, can a player get 6-man, most improved, and defensive player of the year all in the same season? Because
you think he's in the mix for defensive player of the year?
He's playing. I mean, the guy's playing great basketball. And every game that they've won 3 games, and the game when they win is when he plays well. Not when Siakam didn't. 6 of 15 again tonight, 15 points. OG 13 points. Fred VanVleet 6 of 20 from the field. But Chris Boucher 25, 10, 2 blocks, 2 assists, 2 of 4 from 3, 8 of 12 from the field.
It's good production, dude. You know what's kind of amazing?
Best player on the Raptors.
He's 28. I just did not realize that. I would have guessed
Chris
24.
Boucher is?
Yes, he's 28. I'm looking at his page.
I thought he was a rookie.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
I thought he was like 24 for sure.
Was he on all the championship teams? Did I just miss it? Did he just never played?
I don't think so. Hold on, I got his page up. Yeah, so he was on that 2018-2019 team, and then he was on Golden State the year before that. Does this dude have 2 rings? I think he played 1 game for 2017-18.
Probably.
Yeah, wow.
Good for him. Good for you, Chris Boucher. It's taken a while to get here, but you've made it. And you get to be the best player potentially on the worst team in the NBA this year. Not the worst team.
I was going to say, well, geez, that's...
Well, the worst record in the NBA.
I mean, they're not good, yeah. But
they're a bad team. It's a bad basketball team.
Yeah, they're better than Detroit.
Listen, they should never, ever, and I'm not sure what Bovada was thinking or Vegas was thinking, but they should never have a 10-point spread on anybody.
No.
Especially not a team that's 6-6. I don't like Gordon Hayward moves the needle that much.
Not for me.
He does for the people at Bovada. And you know what? Thank you, Bovada, because I won money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Aaron Baines, strong 7 minutes and 33 seconds from Aaron Baines. Hey, you know what? He might just be a good backup. You know. You get it.
I think that's where I'm leaning. I think it's because it took me a minute to remember.
Oh, Gang Time's in the building. He says Halliburton's Rookie of the Year. Gang Time, we're a big fan of you because you're a big fan of us, but you tend to come in with these wild topics that we're not talking about, dude. Like the Kings didn't even play tonight, but you
did just mention Rookie of the Year for.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you mentioned
Sixth Man of the Year,
most improved. Okay,
most improved. But I will say, I don't think you're right, Gang Time, because I think the Rookie of the Year is played in this Raptors Hornets game. So you know what? Good job, Gang Time, on giving us that topic, because I think the Rookie of the Year played in this Raptors game. And I think LaMelo Ball is hands down right now the favorite.
Is that lineup? That'd be interesting for to take a look at for Bavada. I don't know.
14 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 of 5 from 3, 3 steals tonight. The guy's just filling up the stat sheet. It's a stat.
Truly, award. What it takes to win that award. Michael Carter Williams won that award because he was just doing everything for the Sixers.
Gang Time must have just jumped in. He must have just jumped in.
Yeah, jumped in. That's fine.
Because he said, "What about Boucher?" We were just talking about that. He's going to be in the mix, Boucher, for most improved and sixth man. But yeah, I think LaMelo, because he's going to fill up the stat sheet all year, and as they keep going, they play better. They've been playing better even though he's -4. But I don't know. I just think in 26 minutes, 14, 11, and 6. Woo.
Yeah, and if he can, I gotta think he'll be up. His minutes will increase at some point, especially. Well, I guess Graham and Rozier. They'd have to have an injury to Graham or Rozier, but
Graham is not playing good this year.
I know. Yeah,
they're going to keep
playing
playing
well tonight.
But did he 5 of 15 from the field?
5 of 12 from 3. I wasn't even field goal not great.
All right. So it looks like the Pacers are gonna beat the Blazers, although they're only up 14 with 7.5. But just to before we wrap, regardless of what happens with them in this game, I love the Pacers right now. I'm so high on the Pacers. My buddy put a futures bet in today on them plus 2,800 to win the East.
To win the East? Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, just to take a flyer.
I do not think they're going to win. I don't think they have any chance to win a title this year, but the East I think is possible.
Yeah. Why not?
They don't even have Karis LeVert tonight. They're handling Portland.
Yeah.
And they're deeper than you think, too. Not you, but than people think in general. I think Edmund Sumner has some juice. I really do.
He's fine. He's a good defensive player.
I just mean in terms of they're not. It's not like we know they have this incredible starting 5 now, but it's not like they don't have anything behind that. They've got some players.
Yeah. All right. Before we wrap up, Warriors are up. Yeah. Warriors are up 11. Steph has 29. It would be nice to be able to, but we're not even able to watch that. We're kind of watching it, but
I just want to say can you come up with a more disappointing free agency acquisition or offseason acquisition than Robert Covington? He has been brutal for Portland, and he was supposed to be a huge upgrade for them.
Yeah. Well, you see who's in the game right now for them.
Now who they got?
Harry Giles.
There we go. That's our boy.
And this is he's in with the starters. Oh, it's because Nurk got hurt.
Yeah.
Hey.
XBlindX says, where else do you guys stream? We are on YouTube. I think that's it. We're YouTube and Twitch, right?
Yep. And then last comment is Corey James, who said he's a longtime listener, said he's excited for some picks. So here's the deal. We haven't really been doing picks the last couple of nights or this week because of the COVID stuff, Corey. It's so, first of all, there's not a ton of lines up because they don't know what games are going to be played. But I see there's 3 lines up right now for tomorrow. Bucks -6 over the Mavs. That's not my pick. I'm just saying what the lines are for tomorrow. I could try to make some picks. I haven't really looked into it.
I have 2 picks to make if we want to.
Jazz -6 over the Hawks. Also not my pick. How are these all these spreads are just 6 points?
Yeah, I see that too on ESPN, so it's not a coincidence.
And then Clippers -6 against the Kings. So you have picks? You can make picks.
What's going on with why? I like the Hawks getting 6 points for sure. Am I missing something there? Is it they have a serious injury that I'm?
They've been bad.
They have been bad, but the Jazz haven't been great.
The Jazz have played pretty good their last couple games. Not great, but
I'm taking the Hawks getting 6 points.
okay.
Yeah. The Jazz beat the Cavs, the Pistons, and they had a nice win against the Bucks. So I'm making that pick, and then I'm going to take the Mavs getting 6 points against the Bucks, just because I really want to watch that game and root for Kristaps Porzingis. How's that for good betting advice?
Yeah, I don't think that's what Corey was looking for.
Well, I think Corey's after the picks by the guy that's 18 and 11 or something. I don't think he's as.
But I wasn't. I'm not prepared, Corey. I'm sorry. I'm not prepared. Like, Corey, do this. Huh? Is it? Do this, Corey. DM us or tweet us at NBA Morning Deuce, and remind me tomorrow. And when we get closer to the games, I'll give my picks for tomorrow. Because I didn't bet, like tonight, I didn't bet Hornets or Raptors until like 6:50.
Right. And that is honestly the best way to do it.
The best
you want
way
all
to
the
do
information.
It. So anybody who wants it, anybody in here who wants picks, because I have been pretty damn good.
Joey is legitimately on fire, and I don't like giving him credit.
I'm basically like 20-10 right now because I got my 2 picks right tonight. But those aren't official picks from the show. But hit either at NBA Morning Deuce, you could tweet at us or DM us, whatever, and then I'll either post the picks or send you the picks, whatever once I have them.
One other highlight, I got Mike Sanford now. We have the first double comment from 2 different accounts from one person. Mike Sanford is XBlindX, and he's now commenting. So this is a banner. This is a banner day for the Deuce.
Mike Sanford's crushing it today. All right, well, hey, Mike Sanford, XBlindX, gang time. Everybody watching, this was a more successful episode than I anticipated coming into it with a 5-game slate and 2 games still going on. Hopefully the listeners that are not actually watching on YouTube or Twitch also enjoyed it.
I think
and
so.
If you did, leave a comment, rate, subscribe, review, all that stuff. All you guys that are watching, we'll be back Sunday night. Probably around the same time. 10:30, 11.
I'm checking it right now.
Yeah, check the slate.
Solid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gamer. 7 games.
As of right now, there's 7 games. We will see what COVID has in store. 7 games. What time's the last game on Sunday?
10 o'clock. Pacers Clips. So that's a good game.
So probably 11-ish. 11:15, sometime in the second half of that game. But 11:15, 11:30 Sunday, we'll be back. So we'll see you guys then. Appreciate all you guys. This was a good show. Thanks for all the comments, and we'll talk to you Sunday night. Later.